All right, we are back with another episode of Welcome to Plathville. I forgot and honestly don't care what episode. I'm just ready for it to be over with. They tricked me because I thought this was the wedding episode, but it's the rehearsal dinner or rehearsal episode. I'm just so over this family. It's so weird because it clearly seems like if Lydia and Zac weren't actually married now, I would believe.
Well, it could have been a scheme that Todd set up for him to come to you.
With another season because they are on completely different wavelengths. Ha ha he he. And then cut to the rest of them talking about nothing.
I am so sorry for what I put you through.
Y'all should have just did a little wedding special, had them pop in and say their little hate speech, and then let them get married. Because we don't need a full season of this made up drama. And I honestly feel like, not to give them a pass, that's probably why it's so intense. And that's probably why Isaac had to pop pop.
So I got a couple stitches last night.
So I don't know how long they filmed, but all this time of them filming and spreading this out when they don't want to do it anyway. So it's like, y'all don't want to do it, we don't want to see it, so let's all just meet in the middle. Let's not meet in the middle. Let's just have you go your separate way and we will go on and enjoy actual good TV.
I just would like a little bit more reality in here.
I'm still waiting for that executive at Discovery to email me the pitch notes of why y'all said this season needs to be greenlit. Who lied to y'all and said they got something to talk about? That's what I want to know. Who lied and said, oh, this season I'm going to talk about this? So we started the episode with Zac in his new temporary home, and he's giving us a tour of the messiness of the Plaths house, which we will get into because the editors, they did tell a story. They did try to tell a story of something else, but we'll get into that. But they did paint it clearly for me to see between the lines. So Zac is giving us a tour of how this is the room I'm staying in. You know, we didn't really unpack because we were going to whatever little missionary trip they're going to, praise the Lord. So he's like, I'm just here before the wedding because the wedding is in a day or two, so there ain't no need to unpack or do anything because I'm gonna be at this house anyway. But what's very odd to me is that we don't meet Zac's parents or friends or get their backstory. I'm just like, okay, sir, who do you belong to? What gang you represent? Let me stop. But it's like, who are your people? They asked literally like, who is giving you away? I want to ask that to Zac. Who is giving you away? We do see later in the episode his mom and dad walk him in the little rehearsal, whatever. But we don't really hear any talking points or a sit down with his parents and then the unfortunate people that legally said they raised Lydia. We don't see that, or we don't see like a nice conversation or a real conversation from his parents of their take on this wedding moving soon. We just see Kim in the kitchen complaining and doing dishes and touching stuff like she normally does all the time. But most of my blame go towards producers because that's the scenes y'all need to be setting up. Or if he doesn't have a good relationship, which I doubt because they're there, that needs to be explained or something. It's just this random little boy coming in and now moving in temporarily and then about to marry Lydia and go and live their life when we don't know anything about him. And I'm not on the side of the Plaths at all because guess what? That ain't my daughter, that ain't my sister, so he can marry her, take her, do whatever you want to do. But just as a viewer, it's not adding up. So as the lovebirds go downstairs, Zac is like, whose underwear is this on the sofa? And lo and behold, it's...
Whose underwear is this?
I think these are Ethan's clothes.
Okay, so Ethan's just living on the couch.
Nasty Ethan, and he's coming out of the woodworks making these inappropriate, nasty jokes.
We're gonna make him come.
Who's making who come?
We're gonna make Micah come early.
Why do you want to do that?
Y'all are just filled with so much disgust, hate, just all of the above. It's just so, I know Zac hates being there, and he's probably mostly there just for the storyline and because producers told him to do that, because I would happily stay in the Airbnb or stay home, or honestly I just stay with Lydia. Like, girl, turn over. We don't have to do anything, but I'm not staying in your family's little raggedy house filled with all their little evil imps. Like, Zac needs to sage and pray all over that house and throw anoint. Well, no, they'll probably burn the house down, but something needs to happen, because I know he don't want to stay there in that dump, but also around those people. Then Barry shows up, and I don't know why they keep making it seem like, you know, Mariah is this like mysterious person. I know she has her little black hair and just ooh, but I don't know why they're making it seem like she's just this mysterious person where, you know, it has to be a surprise when she comes, because then nobody really acknowledge or care when she moved to Montana. But it's like, girl, what did I tell you last week? Stay in Montana. Stay there. Don't come back. Don't come back. And you'll have a chance at a better life. I was thinking Barry had himself a new little boo.
Okay. You want to go surprise him?
Honestly, I want to avoid everybody and go to sleep.
Pulling up, like, he got his little date for the wedding, but it's Mariah. So Lydia and Zac, you know, they still doing their little giggling, and it's cute or whatever, but it's just boring. It's so boring at this point. Lord have mercy. So Ethan's in the kitchen with Zac, and he says in his confessional, I did talk to Lydia, and I apologize for going so hard on Zac.
I did apologize to her for being so hard on Zac. He did help me put the hood on my Model A this morning.
Did you have anything else for the car?
I have to cut the 2x4 to hang the windshield on.
Again, Zac is doing everything he needs to do to try to build this relationship, even in the quick timeline. Yes, there can be questions or whatever, but he ain't cussing y'all out like y'all making it seem like he's this big bully, and he's really trying to build a connection with you guys and build a relationship with you guys, and you only like what people can do for you. After all this explanation, I'm still waiting to hear you say you apologize to Zac. I mean, he's sitting right there, so if you didn't already, you could have. So what's the point of you apologizing to Lydia if you're not going to apologize to a person that you offended? So as they're sitting around talking about nothing, then Micah, who also ain't doing nothing, calls and is just like, hey, I know y'all heard Veronica isn't going to come to the wedding, but she still might. She's in a meeting, which pretty much y'all should have broke the fourth wall and said, production's like, girl.
I think Veronica told you she wasn't going to be able to make it, but there's a possibility that she actually will, so it's up in the air right now. She's currently in a meeting.
You gotta film this wedding, you gotta film this scene, you gotta come, because y'all know she loves to say, I was held by contract, okay, girl, y'all just say that at this point. That's one of many reasons, but that's a logistical reason of why this season is trash, because it's so forced. It's so forced and so elongated for no reason. They don't want to be there. She don't want to be there. None of the family want to be there. We don't want them there. And Lydia and Zac, they want to get married. So I'm like, just give them a spinoff. There's a few people that's happy for them. Not saying I'm not happy for them, but I ain't, subscribed and looking for the little wedding special spinoff. But do that. But this whole season just does not make sense. And so Lydia and Zac explains that Veronica sent them a text saying,
What she said in her message was for her mental well-being. So I assume that relates to my family in some way, shape, or form. I'm not gonna try to know what's going on there, but it's really last minute and we already have a million things to do, and that would give us more things to do to rearrange everything for her.
Lydia's like, girl, I'm worried about this wedding. I ain't worried about you. Old lady Lydia, she knows when someone says mental health has stopped them from being around her family, she already knows what the tea is, but she's like, I can't even worry about that. I'm worried about my rehearsed day that I put together. And then we got Mr. Evil Ethan over here talking about Michael walking the line and, you mean taking in consideration his partner, which I sound crazy saying, because this is all made up and all just for the story and all just for this,
I just would like a little bit more reality in here.
But when you look at it, that's pretty much what his character is doing, and Ethan doesn't like that. So he calls it walking the line or, this, that, and the other. But when you are, not Micah, but this character that he's trying to play, because it's not even like a good portrayal, but this character that he's trying to portray of being a straight white male with a girlfriend and taking her feelings in consideration, that character is showing up or supposed to show up for that character's girlfriend. But Ethan can't see that. He don't see that. He sees that as walking the line.
Since she said she's not coming, I think it's wrong for her to change her mind and come now. I know he's trying to walk that line, and I've done that in the past, so I know what that's like.
Because he always has to bring it back to when I was with Olivia, to even when he was talking about his little fangirl now, Tegan. He got the names mixed up.
Veronica is accusing Olivia. I'm sorry, I'm getting my girls mixed up.
It's not your girls. You just got her name mixed up because you used to sitting or standing in that little confessional lying and dragging Olivia because you ain't got nothing else to talk about. You ain't got nothing else to talk about, nothing else to do, nothing else going on for you. All you got to do is just try to blame everything on Olivia. So that's why you got her name mixed up, because what's the thing on Chicago? The name in everybody's mouth, Olivia. And while he's still sitting here in this confessional lying, the thing that I hate about the Plaths is that they find one reason when someone's doing wrong, even though it contradicts them and they do the same, if not worse, they will drag that out into delusion as if they're exempt or haven't done that before, because he's talking about, see, Veronica, she's flip-flopping and saying she's going to go to the wedding and not going to do. Do you not understand the stress that puts on Lydia?
Quit playing flip-flop last minute, put more stress on Lydia. Just don't come. You don't want to be here anyways. You made that very clear, so don't come.
How about the stress of you and Kim plotting, trying to tell Lydia that this is the worst decision that she's making in her life?
The thing we can do is have, like, a real talk with her.
Yeah.
And say, like, these are all the reasons why I think this might be the biggest mistake you've ever made in your life.
How about you questioning her fiance, or I guess future fiance at that point, asking him if he's gay?
Are you gay?
How about you saying to her face you don't like him?
I don't really like him.
You talking about Veronica putting stress. She's right along with you. You're not making this a stress-free occasion for Lydia. If anything, you are making it worse too. So y'all just sit here and lie. It's just, y'all, I'm tired of y'all. I am so tired of y'all. I don't know if I made that clear. But if I didn't, I just want to let you know again, I am tired of y'all. Barry is the only person out here that's actually having Lydia's best interest. Well, and Amber too. She'll just throw her little shade in the confessional because that's my girl. But he's the only person, especially a parent, that is just supporting old lady Lydia and her man, and by saying that yes, it's a new thing, but Zac hasn't done anything that shows harm to Lydia. Zac is doing everything to show that he cares about Lydia.
Zac is focused on Lydia. He's pretty deliberate, and he takes notes, and he remembers things about her likes and dislikes. And he wants to provide for her. I appreciate that about him. The father always wants the guy his daughter marries to be somebody that makes her feel special.
Yeah, there's going to be issues. So I'm not saying Zac is perfect by far. Cordell is not perfect by far.
Cordell is not perfect by far.
But he is not as evil as the Plaths and Veronica are saying that he is. If he was, then Isaac, you should have bop.
So I got a couple stitches last night.
Why you didn't do that? Because you just a little coward like your gay little brother, or your other gay little brother, Ethan, who got all this to say, and we gonna get into you, Isaac, but y'all got all this to say, but will not say anything to his face when Zac is standing right next to you, but you won't say anything. Isaac's welcome him into his room, into his house.
Okay. Thanks for everything.
Yeah, we know it's a huge sacrifice for you to have to give up this room.
No, it's all good.
Didn't say anything, just say, oh, have fun, whatever. But you got all this, I don't like him, I don't know. You could say that to his face. Are you scared? Barry pulls around, or there's some little raggedy car that I'm sure Ethan worked on or whatever that comes around, and so they all hop in and go around, and poor Zac is just interpreting this as we're having a good time with the family. Little does he know, Ethan's in the confessional when they ask him, oh, well, do you like Zac? Now he's saying, sir.
Do you like him a bit more now?
No.
Take me for a ride.
Who do you think likes you? Nobody. So he really thinks his approval means anything. Like, sir, don't nobody care if you like them or not. Don't nobody care what you got going on. And then old lady Lydia is just so girl, I need you to wake up, because she's saying
Ethan's love language is definitely work and cars.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing here, showing his love and support for us.
no, girl, that's him being selfish and only being happy doing the things that he wants to do. He's only happy because he's doing what he want to do, which is why he was happy when Zac helped him with his car, because that's what he wants. Everything is all about him. It's all selfishness. It's not selflessness. I don't think they can even spell or define either word. Because I know they definitely can't do selflessness. They can do selfishness, but it's crazy to see how y'all are easily fooled by the schemes of Satan himself and being tricked to think that, oh, he's on my side, because he's not. He's not. And honestly, I wouldn't even want him to be. I would not want to live in a world where Ethan Plath is cool with me. I would not want to live in a world where Ethan Plath is a friend of mine. I would not want to live in a world where Ethan Plath is saying, I like him. If he said that, then I'm like, okay, there's something I need to change, something I need to do, because that is not a validation or acceptance that I want or need. Now on to Kimberly Plath. Girl, it is season 7 and you are still in this farm, walking around, touching stuff, trying to do dishes or whatever, and playing the victim and complaining. Why are you wasting your valuable time when you could be at work, seating table for 2?
What can I do for you?
You have a table for 2 people?
Sure. There you go.
Thank you.
Earning money so you don't have to complain for child support, or in your words, starting OnlyFans.
Hey, with not getting child support going through this divorce, I thought about it. It would just be fee, because I can't do the other.
To get money since Barry don't want to pay. Why are you wasting your time setting out all this plastic tableware for this wedding that you don't believe in? In true Plath fashion, y'all don't say anything to nobody's face, because you're sitting here 10 feet away. Zac is out there getting the wedding and rehearsal and all that stuff, and you are 10 feet away complaining, saying, I don't think that...
I'm staying at the farm, and I had hesitations because I just felt like it was too quick. And then at some point I started to see some red flags, and then I started to see more red flags. I'm more concerned about the marriage happening now than I was when they first got engaged, just because I've had more time to see more red flags.
Say it to their face. You're supposed to be the mother. So if you feel a type of way, A, why are you wasting your time setting this stuff up and doing all this stuff when you don't believe in it? And then B, if you're supposed to be the mother, why are you not telling your daughter, hey, from a loving mother, I think you might just be rushing stuff because love doesn't exist in your heart. And you know there are other reasons as to why you don't want this to work, because you sitting here talking about they're rushing in 3 months. Like, you know, you can't know someone.
Having to accept somebody that we don't know. Zac comes along, knows Lydia for like 3 months, when he sat down with Barry and said, I want to ask for her hand in marriage. And Barry's like, have it.
Girl, it's hilarious because that's the exact same timeline that you and Barry had after you started dating.
And his exact words were, hi, Kim, this is Barry. I'm calling to talk to you about our future and my intentions, which that's marriage talk.
That's marriage talk. We were married 3 months later.
You only dated for 3 months and then boom, got married after the Lord told you.
One day, I just heard the Lord say, Barry's gonna be your husband. It was that clear.
Yes, you can say, oh, we were friends, and oh, it doesn't matter. A, that's the timeline and the replica that you presented to your children. And unlike most of your other satanic children, Lydia is the one that really did the Lord's work of honoring the person that God made her mother. And honoring her father. Yes, you are practicing satanic rituals right now, but you raised her on this, and I feel like I need to bring it up every week. But in season 4, Ethan even told you the way y'all raised them breeds what Lydia is doing now.
The environment that we grew up in literally bred somebody that would go straight to like the first person that you had like a mutual feeling for, and it was never taught to any of us that there was another way.
So why are you acting surprised? And the same question applies for him too as to why he's acting surprised. But we know the answer. You don't like this boy because you think he's gay, and that's that. Over here talking about red flags. You would be one to talk about red flags, because let's list out all the red flags that you have as an individual, or as a mother, or as a wife, or as I wouldn't even say friends, because girl, I haven't seen a single friend of yours. This list of red flags that you see, or the problems that you have with Zac, let's go through that. So first you said,
I've seen a lack of initiative.
Please tell me, what lack of initiative are you talking about? Because if anything, it's too much initiative to try to marry quickly and to try to put all this together and plan and coordinate the proposal, which y'all were all like, he's been controlling, he's been bossy. He took the initiative to tell y'all where to go, where we're gonna stand, what this, that, and the other. So if anything, that's too much initiative, but you wouldn't know anything about initiative now, would you? And then you're talking about
helping out with chores, stuff like that does not happen.
You and Isaac had something to say about that too, because he also said when he was having his little hissy fit in the car about he don't have to do chores around the house, he don't have to clean up, he don't blah, blah, blah.
Zac moved into my house. I was kind of hoping I would get to see how he is around the house, how he takes care of himself, how he picks himself up and everything, cleans up after himself, but never helped cook, never helped clean. Seems like you'd at least contribute a little bit, but he would just sit up in his room all day that is completely trash, come downstairs, eat when somebody made something and it was ready, and then he would just go lay down on the couch on his phone and not offer to help clean up. It just seems disrespectful, just really pissing me off.
To Kim, ma'am, that is not your child. That is not your child. So if I was there, I'm not about to be doing chores. What you want me to do? Wash the walls and sweep it? No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Not at all. If you need something as a guest, you can ask me and I'll do it. But seeing how y'all don't say anything to his face, I doubt you said, hey, Zac, can you come and help us sweep the dining room? And he said no. What chores do you want him to do? And then to Isaac, which I'll get into more too on a whole separate thing, but he's talking about his room is dirty. Sir, he's not going to be here long, and I can read between the lines that he's probably just here for production reasons and for the little storyline reason of, oh, I moved to blah, 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 blah. So he already said, yeah, here's my stuff. We leaving for Germany in a week or so, so it ain't worth unpacking or anything like that. And if he wants to keep the room a mess, that's the room he's sleeping in. If I got an Airbnb and I choose to keep the room a mess and the person coming in saying, ma'am, this isn't a public space where everybody gonna be in my rooms. And then also, he's planning a wedding. He's the only one taking the initiative to plan and do all, well, so is old lady Lydia. But he got all this stuff that he's trying to plan and squeeze into this tight timeline. I doubt he has time to clean and make that little room spotless. But at the end of the day, as long as it's clean when he leaves, that's the only thing you need to be worried about. If he left crumbs around and little plates and stuff like that, or his dirty underwear around like your son.
Whose underwear is this?
I think these are Ethan's clothes.
Okay.
Then that would be a problem. I'm not about to walk around and pick up Ethan's dirty underwear. That's who you need to be yelling at, for someone to leave their nasty underwear on the sofa and stuff like that. Also, Isaac's talking about, well, he didn't make dinner. He just ate what? Of course, I'm going to eat. If it's a problem and you want me to make dinner, say something. Say, so I am a guest in your house. I'm not your child. I am not a resident here. I am a guest in your house. If someone was staying with me, especially getting ready for a wedding, I would not expect them to now if they're making a mess in all the public spaces and the living room, the dining room, the bath, all that stuff that's shared, then it'll be a problem. But if someone is staying with me, I'm not expecting them to cook for me or to clean up with me. It would be a privilege to do so. And if I wanted them to do that, I ask them or tell them to do that. So I'm like, y'all are some grown people, but y'all acting like little scaredy cats. So then she's saying
I've seen a usurping of Lydia's desires, where Lydia wants something for the wedding and he just shoots it down because he has another plan in mind. She wanted hunter green for wedding colors. Zac said, oh no, it has to be blue because I have a blue suit that I wore to another wedding and I really pop in that blue suit.
Now I'm gonna be honest, I did have to look up the word usurp, and the technical definition is to take illegally or by force. Girl, do you know what you usurped? That car that you drove after you had those drinks. You know who else you usurped and illegally took by force? I ain't even gonna go there, but you creating this laundry list, well, it ain't even a laundry list, it's just 3 little things of these the red flags that you look for. No wonder why you single. I mean, there's other reasons why, but those are the red flags that you look for because you lazy and because you just want to nitpick at little things. Okay. But to the color point, it's a wedding of 2 people, and you do have to come to some type of compromise. Everyone should have a say in what they want. Lydia is strong-minded, but she also wants to submit to her man, as the Lord says in the Bible, as her demonic mother taught her, submit to your husband. So if she really didn't want him to wear blue or whatever, I'm sure she would have spoke up and made sure that didn't happen. He said, or I think you said that he said he looks good in blue or whatever. Well, your little gay son, Kim, confirmed that.
Yeah, that bastard really does pop in blue.
And Ethan, don't think we forgot how you were looking at his little booty in that blue suit at the proposal.
Tell the skinny hoes to point me where the thick hoes at. He want a flat booty bitch, I'm not with all that.
So we know you are secretly happy that he's gonna be wearing blue yet again.
He's a big booty bitch.
So she's still in here complaining and complaining. Girl, if you stop complaining and focus on the chores that you are actively doing, you wouldn't need any help. You would not need his help or anybody's help to do chores if you just stop complaining, shut that mouth, and scrub those dishes. If you just shut that mouth and do what you need to do, things would be done just like that. You would not need any help, but yet you want to waste people's time. And she probably honestly got fired from her table for 2 because she too busy running her mouth and trying to gossip, just like when she was filming. Her manager had to check her.
I'm not set up for much more than this.
Don't really focus too much on the rotation chart. Just put the people at a table, then go tell the server.
She over here trying to sit down, film scenes, and pretend to be washing the windows and all that. So, girl, you need to learn to focus on what you're doing as opposed to talking and gossiping.
Just put the people at a table, then go tell the server.
You were talking and complaining about Barry not checking in on you when you got a DUI and him not asking, are you okay, when you chose to get behind that wheel and usurp that steering wheel after you usurp those drinks. So, girl, all these red flags and tough questions that are left unanswered, why can't you do it? You even tried to get Ethan to do it in the earlier episode of like, oh, so are you going to talk to him and ask him this, that, and the other? I just don't understand how y'all can waste your time doing something that you do not believe in. If y'all are so miserable and don't want to do this, why are you setting this up? Why are you wasting I would be well, I guess it is your home, but I would just say no. And in her little gossip session with Ethan, when she should be doing the dishes, or ask him to help you do the chores since you want to talk so much. Now you're talking about Veronica, and that's when you bring up the little OnlyFans things, and it's like, girl, don't nobody want to see you. I can't even believe that was a thought that came through your head. But then you also make another gross comment about your own daughter. Of course, you're going to put the blame on somebody else. According to Ethan.
And as Ethan likes to put it, it's because they want to. Because otherwise, they could go to Germany together. Why can't you go to Germany together? There's no law that says you have to be married in order to go to Germany.
If I was old lady Lydia, I would never speak to y'all again. And I mean, this isn't even just the only reason why I wouldn't speak to y'all. There's so many other reasons why. But the fact that y'all are spending this whole entire season, every episode, every chance you get on the screen, we don't hear about your divorce. We don't hear about your job. We don't hear about you trying to rebuild your life. We don't hear about, even if it's a fake relationship like Micah that you're in. All we hear is hate, 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 hate. I don't want to do this. I don't believe in this. I don't like this. I don't like this. But guess what? You're doing it. If you're so miserable, just tell them, cut the cameras. Because that's your house. That's your, well, it might be in Barry's name, so you probably can't say that. But go and play with the cows with Veronica, which we will get into. I got a lot about Miss Girl. Now Veronica and Micah pull up, and for some reason, Isaac is just so enraged and decides to throw a hissy fit. Which is so odd considering his take on hissy fits.
Everything has to be his way or he's going to have a fit.
I'm just trying to cool off right now.
I have a really unsettling feeling about Veronica being here.
He goes on this tangent about Zac, and again, all this stuff he has to say on the phone in the car when Zac is steps away. You can say all you want to say to his face. He's also been living in your house, and you can say all of that to his face, but you don't. And so his gay little brother Micah is trying to calm him down and be like, it's gonna be okay, like, you know, I get it. And then when the cameras cut, I heard a little noise.
What was that? James?
I'm like, what were y'all doing? Seeing all that built up rage, and then you in the car with Micah, and I hear that, which is probably why I said bop. Like, what you trying to?
So I got a couple stitches last night.
Let me stop. Allegedly. And then he's saying he got unsettled feelings with Veronica, which, period, go off, came me too. But Micah, you ain't playing your role. You ain't playing the role. You studied for this role. You had the script all season long. You supposed to be in the character of this straight white male with a girlfriend, and you're supposed to support her. So you're not sticking to the roles and you're not sticking to the lines. But back to Zac, Isaac talking about he's supposed to be a provider. How he's gonna provide? Lydia already said he applied and got a job at the state. So what are you doing for work? And you talking about being a provider and a job. Talk to Micah about that, because is he being a provider? Is he working a job? Is he able to do anything? I don't think so. So angry at the wrong person, because he got a job. Zac has a job, Micah doesn't. In his little hissy fit, he's going in talking about all these people that date us, and you know, they change. And
look at like Mariah and her ex, and Ethan with Olivia or whatever. People in our family in the past that have dated people, and then later on down the road they turn into a different person.
Literally me right now.
Keep every week having to teach your kids about the common denominator. So I'm gonna do it once again, because I don't think Isaac was present for the last ones. But in the common denominator, if you have multiple occurrences and it's the same outcome, there may be someone else, but like if it's the same outcome with several different people, but there is one common denominator, there's several different people that come in and date, but the common denominator is a Plath, and it all ends the same. We need to look at the common denominator, the thing that stays the same in each and every situation that results in the same outcome. Again, there can be one-offs, because with this Veronica and Micah situation, A is fake, and then B, she is crazy. So, you know, there are one-offs. But still, the common denominator is the Plaths. You need to be in the car crying, saying, why is our family so bad? Why are we so awful? We can't keep a healthy relationship. Like, we're so scarred. We were raised wrong. We were raised by Satan. Why don't we understand the basic fundamentals of life? And why don't we know love? And why is my heart filled with hate? But you want to say everybody's wrong. Which at the end of the day, y'all, whether it's you chose to actually date the person, or if in Micah's case, you signed the contract to be like, oh, you can be my girlfriend for this season to debunk these rumors. allegedly, y'all choose these people. So it still goes back to you that let's just say y'all are perfect, which is funny to say. I gotta laugh for a second. But let's just say y'all are perfect and everybody else is a problem. Y'all choose these people. So it goes back to you and how you can't choose the right person or know red flags. And if you need a masterclass on red flags, you can go in the kitchen, help wash some dishes with Kim, and she can explain to you what red flags to look for in certain relationships. So it's like you have all these opportunities, but at the end of the day, it still goes back to you. So you sit in the car crying, having a little, it is hilarious to me. It is funny to me. And Michael just sitting here listening. Sir, he is dragging your character's girlfriend and you just sitting here listening.
Veronica's probably gonna be super pissed that we've been gone this long.
Who gives a... Why would you even care?
I love her, but I don't know. There's been so many things that have been so hard to work through.
I can't take, like, much more. I'm just gonna lose it.
So I got a couple stitches last night.
So now Ethan's all upset and going off talking about religion and she's so holy, but God didn't tell you to listen to your family or...
Is Lydia is so, like, religious and holy, but God told her to marry Zac. But God did not tell her to listen to the advice of everyone else in her life. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
First of all, clearly you didn't learn your lesson because you keep trying to bring God into this and quote all this stuff when you are Satan himself. That's hilarious, number one. But then number two, the more you try to justify your hate and how this is so wrong with religion, that makes me believe even more that it is ordained by God, because you are right. And I never thought I would say that, but you are right, Ethan Plath. God did tell her that. And he also did tell her, don't listen to your family. Why would she listen to some trolls, some satanic trolls? Why would she listen to that in a decision? Why would she listen to some cowards? Because y'all got all these opinions that y'all are saying to yourselves and behind both of their backs, but you won't say anything to their face. So why should God tell her to listen to a bunch of cowards? And please tell me, what life do you think old lady Lydia can have listening to you, Kim, Isaac, and all the rest of y'all? What life?
What life she could be missing out on with someone that maybe is her soulmate.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure anything is better than following the advice of a Plath. The best advice is to leave. All of y'all, well, minus Amber, are just miserable. And the thing I wanted to do is let's bring reality. Ethan made a point, a perfect point that I agree with, which is
I just would like a little bit more reality in here.
Where's the reality? She's over here pretending to be a girlfriend to Micah Plath.
I just would like a little bit more reality in here.
Kim's in the kitchen still complaining, but still setting up and preparing for this wedding that she doesn't want.
I just would like a little bit more reality in here.
And now Ethan's over here throwing another little hissy fit, slamming tables and throwing tables all around because he's mad. Which, sir, I don't know who you think you hurting because those are Kim's little plastic tables. Old lady Lydia and Zac, they ain't by that. So if you break a table, guess what? You breaking your mama's table, which is why she was like, oh, let me try to calm them down.
Ethan's pissed.
Because she's like, you know, I got a deposit on those tables, so let's talk about it. You over here throwing tables. Hold on now. He's over here talking about it's taking everything, again, sounding and looking like and acting like a full child, talking about it's taking everything in me to try to do this wedding, but I can't. Don't do it. Like, also, once again, Zac is right there. So if you so mad, if you so enraged, square up. You want to throw tables and stuff like that and say all this stuff, calling names behind his back. So if you got all this anger, tap him on the shoulder and square, or tap him on the butt since you like him in that little blue suit.
Discreet. She's a big booty bitch.
And square up. So what is all this talk gonna do? All this talk like you some big macho man talking about when I get angry, I do 100, 150, sometimes 200 push-ups.
When me and Olivia split, I started doing at least 100 push-ups, sometimes 200 or 300 push-ups. It's kind of my go-to when I get in a tight spot and I'm frustrated.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Because you on push-up number 3 and you turning red like the demon you are. So maybe you need to find another way to relieve your stress, or an actual way, because I don't believe you. It's just so much fakeness going on, but mostly from their part, because you over here at this wedding rehearsal complaining about it, and it's on your Barry's property, your family's property, and you got so much to say, and then you bouncing over to Veronica, which, I mean, go off, but you over here talking about, she's over here saying hi to the little girls, just like what Olivia did. You know why? Because the Bible says, "Come unto me, little children." And that's what Olivia Tubman was trying to do. And that's what she did to y'all. She said, "Come unto me, little children, and I will lead you out of this misery." I don't know what little curse or wicked witch Veronica is casting on those little girls, so you might be justified in her talking to the little girls, but you love, once again, trying to bring up Olivia. That's why her name stays in y'all mouth. Y'all need to start paying her every time you gotta quote her name, or she needs to start sending y'all a defamation lawsuit. You got nothing else going on. It's blaming Olivia and then being mad at people, or being mad at doing something that you don't. Y'all got free will. So if you are so angry, even if you are held hostage, like some of these cast members like to say they are under these contracts, even if you are held hostage, you can say whatever you want to say. So if you are stuck on that little farm and you feel so bothered by Zac, you can say, "Look here, brother." I don't know why, but that's how I feel like Ethan would yell at somebody. If he actually had the balls to yell at somebody, because he ain't crazy. Mike might be a little bit, and which is why he had a little pop.
So I got a couple stitches last night.
Which I'm still wondering now, like, why did Isaac do that? Then Ethan and Isaac and Micah were in the car on a separate occasion, and then also heard a little noise.
I'm gonna try to be as supportive as I can.
I don't want to put any accusations out, but for me,
I think he's gay.
I'm just saying. On to Ms. Veronica, because she pulled up with Micah and she immediately goes to the cows and was like, I don't want to be here, so I'm just going to go with the cows. Girl, that's fully what you should have done if you're being forced to be here. Like, under contract, like, I gotta film. But that's also what you should have done or could have done at the proposal if you were forced to be here on the contract, this, that, and the other. Just like you chose to not say anything to them and hide behind cars and, do your own little thing. I don't know if there were cows. Well, there were cows at the proposal, because you was over there by them when you went to the woods to go call Olivia to try to be messy. You could have did that at the proposal, yet you chose to stick around, try to fit in and bully and give them ideas of how to bully and this, that, and the other. Even if you're like, "Oh, well, Zac is an awful person." Okay, well, if he's awful to you, then go to the woods. That don't mean you need to align with other people who are awful, so go play with the cows. But the reason why you only did that today and at that little rehearsal was because you're a little scaredy cat. You had all this mouth and you had all this to say about Mariah, about Tegan unpromptedly, although she is a fan. You had all this stuff to say and you had to face the fire, but you were scared. So that's why you chose to hit, which is why you were so confident when you came to the proposal and you were mingling and this and the other. But now that you and your mouth created more issues, that's why you trying to hide and trying to say, "Okay, well, Micah, be by my side. You know that you have to face the consequences of your actions. And little do you know, they also scared too, and they ain't gonna say nothing in nobody's face. But you are too. So you try to be this little big tough girl, and you're not. You're not standing on business, but you want to say all this stuff behind their back. So that's why I'm like, girl, change your name to Veronica Plath and stick it out with that little fake relationship with Micah or somebody, because you fit right in with the Plaths. You get no sympathy from me because you are just like them. Walk around hiding, playing the victim. Justice for this therapist that had to waste her time with you because you saying like, "Oh, well, my therapist said this, my therapist, she said," Girl, you walked out of that therapy session rudely without saying bye. And I know there's some things that weren't shown from the whole thing, but we did see the ending and you just get up and leave and then say bye. And we did see you argue and fight back with her when she was trying to tell you the healthiest way to go about if you were going to continue this fake relationship. So those parts we did see, but you're the type of person that loves to say, oh, my therapist, just use it as a prop.
The therapist told me to go. She told me if I didn't go and resolve things with the family in due time, that I would regret missing it.
Girl, that lady does not want to be associated with any of your behaviors, I'm sure. And I was dying when you over here trying to do your little monologue and Mariah walks by and just like, oh, hi, glad you can make it, and just went on by her way.
I don't even know any of these people, but like...
Hi, Veronica. I'm glad you can make it.
Thanks.
I guess I have to come over here.
And that's what I'm like, is Mariah a bad person? Well, she's a Plath, so that answers itself. But when it comes down to you and Mariah, she's been the bigger person. Although she sent that little letter to... Although she sent that little letter to you, it at least was a start. And even at the proposal, she was there for Lydia, and then she got in her car and left and was like, I ain't trying to start no drama. I ain't trying to do nothing like that, whatever. And then she went on to Montana, or I think that's where she went. Yeah, to Montana. And then even now, just, oh, hi, why can't you say anything? If you so hurt, why can't you say it? Or if you want to be here for Lydia, because I know that's not the case, but if you keep saying, well, I'm going to be here for Lydia, then be there for Lydia and just stand there quietly, say, hey, we don't have to talk about this later, and I'm gonna be here in support of Lydia, but you aren't. And even with Amber, my girl, Amber, she, while you, or I guess that's Micah's truck, sitting here trying to do your little monologue, your little sad woe is me monologue, Amber just like, hey.
I'm not gonna like talk to her, but I'll say hi and make sure there's nothing between us going on during the wedding.
Micah left with Isaac, but I think Isaac's girlfriend's somewhere here.
She's upstairs. I said hi to her. See you around, Veronica.
See you soon.
I mean, she's acting like nothing happened and like everything's fine. And it kind of feels like maybe we could get past this.
Thank you for coming. And she said, I just want to make sure there ain't no problems between the two of us, like, because we here for Lydia, and I just want to make sure, we can leave our beef at the door. Now, when this is over, girl, you can catch me outside, because all that stuff you were saying to me, they ain't gonna fly, so we can throw these hands after the wedding, but she didn't say all that. But that's what it's given the bigger person, and it's so crazy. Every time I explain or talk about what Amber has done that is just more mature than all these other people, and then I remember this girl is 15, and she got more sense than all of y'all combined. All your little ops and all the people that you doing this to coming up to you and trying to be cordial, yet you can. But you're like, but I can't be fake. Yes, you can. And the number one reason why I know you can is because you are in a relationship with Micah and you keep saying, but I love him. Girl, y'all are just a scared, miserable family. Oh, sorry, cult. And I do include Veronica in that because you fit right in. Very few times I slide into a person's DM. I won't even call her a celebrity or somebody, but just anyone's DM in general. I did message her when she was commenting on everything at the beginning of the season, just like, okay, girl, like, you want to say your piece? But I didn't follow up on that. But then after all the stuff that happened with her bullying, she's been radio silent. I haven't heard anything from her or any take other than her trying to put Barry on blast and hold him accountable. But girl, you haven't been accountable. So then she posted yesterday a story about Charlie Kirk, and I'm not even about to get into politics on here because whatever. But at the end of the day, it is a tragic thing that happened, a traumatic thing that happened in general. But what kind of pissed me off to where I was just like, okay, girl, was her comments about it, talking about this void can't be filled and his memory calls us back to compassion. And I'm like, really now? The best way to describe it without even saying any words, I did a screen recording because it was so ironic that Olivia's story came up and then Veronica's was right after, and it went from this to this. You can't make that up. And it's the perfect way of putting it to where it's like, it's horrible what happened. And of course, none of that should happen. But when you are defending the words of hate that someone is saying, and that's the part that you want to talk about and try to shove down people's throats and make them accept the words that they said and the life that they lived and the values that they stood on, that's a bit crazy to me from anybody. And so when I called her out on it, she's talking about, well, I knew him and, you know, that's not the guy. And as I said, of course you knew him. Of course you would know this man. But also, in true Plath fashion, she deflects and talk about, oh, well, Plaths are racist, so talk about them. You're right, and I will. And I'm adding you to that as well, because apparently you are too. And apparently you stand for the morals of that too. And apparently you can't even defend yourself, and you know you are wrong. Because why are you bringing them into that? I ain't talking about them. I trust and believe I will talk about them when I get ready, which is now. But I'm talking to you now. So you got all this to say, but when you should be held accountable, that's when you want to deflect. So I'm like, no wonder why she fits so in with the role of girlfriend for Michael Plath. But with the Plaths, she is just like them. You stand on the same things they stand on. You trying to be on this moral high ground and call out Barry and call out Ethan and all the Plaths when you know everyone hates them. But when you do the same thing or you stand for the same thing and somebody says something to you, then that's when you deflect and can't stand 10 toes down. So we already see that you can't stand 10 toes down against little girls and against people that you say run your mouth about anyway. We see you hiding behind cars.
Everybody's just like socially awkward.
Hiding in the trees and the bushes and trying to play the victim. So we already know that. So that's why I'm not surprised. And I'm like, I'm not even about to waste my time and energy going back and forth with you because that's probably what you want, the attention. So that's why I'm like, you know what? I will give you the attention when I talk about the Plaths, since you are grouped up with them too. So, girl, you are a clown and you are perfectly cast for this show. I just can't wait till this show's done. I think someone said there were 12 episodes, whatever. But that's my take. Let me know your takes on this show and on this episode and everything else that's going on. The theme of this show and this episode is just chaos and misery.